Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. We're going to look at extinct nations and how to play with them, because if you wandered through the editor and went down to nations and sorted by like continent or region, you'll notice that there's a big swath of nations here that have database entries, but what they don't have is like any continent or region attached to them. Now, these can be really, really, really important to an editor because, as you can see in nations, there's no add tab, just an edit tab. So the ability to work with and play with these entries can make or break a save or make or break an idea. Now, it's not an exact science. Like, I'm still playing around and figuring out how exactly I want this to work, because like I can get the Soviet Union to work, I can get Czechoslovakia to work, I can get Ireland to work. I have a way of making Great Britain work for myself. I have a way of making Czechoslovakia work, but I can't get any of these to work the same way as each other, where there'll be little inconsistencies here and there. The first thing that has to be noticed about this is that when we go in, like I'm going to click Ireland pre-1922. If you go to continent, I can edit the continent. On yours, as it is right now, that will be grayed out and you won't be able to do anything with that. First off, I'm going to show you how to deal with that. So go to Steam, and now you have to get the Football Manager 2022 Resource Archiver. Now, if you don't have the Resource Archiver, it's probably not installed, and you might have this icon selected up here for Show Only Ready to Play Games. Click that, and then it'll open up the entire list. Scroll to Football Manager, get the Resource Archiver, install it, launch it. So, yeah, let's just open it up here. And it'll open that archiver for you. Now, you go to Extract Archive. It's brought me immediately to where I want to be, but if it doesn't do this for you, what you have to do is go to your Steam folder. Now, that'll typically be in like Steam users. You can find tutorials for how to get to the Steam folder. What you do is Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Football Manager 22, Data. Once you're at Data, you're where you want to be. Select Comp Editor, COMP space EDITOR, and click Load. Now, what it'll ask you to do is find the destination you want to extract that to. I'm going to go to Zanzi. I've got, I don't have a folder here. So I'm going to do is new folder. I'm just going to call it extract. Click OK, and then click select the folder and then select. Now, what that's done is it's taken all of the coding in the Football Manager game itself, taken it to competition editing, and it is now going to load all of the programming software related to how the editor interacts with competitions. And one of the options is the field continent. So what we're going to do is we're going to find that field and we're going to edit it so that we have the ability to interact with it through the editor. So what you do is you go to your folder, you open up something, go to this PC, and what we do is you go to the folder that you've done that extraction on. So mine is on the C drive, users, Zanzi, extracts. There we go. Comp editor. And what you're looking for is nation.xml. XML. Or maybe it's XLM. Just tell it to search for, oh, there we go, that explains it. Search for nation. Okay, so it's nation XML that you're looking for, and there's a particular, it's one of those two files, and if you can ever remember which one, it's very easy. What you do is you just click a random one, open it. I'm going to use Notepad++, doesn't really matter. Go Notepad++, Control F, and you're looking for this line here. Again, I already have an input, but if you're unsure, it is $! Exclamation mark, dash, dash, space. And then you can just put in find. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way up to the very top, find next. So yeah, this isn't finding what no, it is finding what I wanted to find. So I'm going to do continent. I wanted to avoid that part. Okay. So we're at the continent part. I can never spell continent correctly in our first go. So I wanted to avoid that at all possible. This is the one we want. Okay. So you're looking for it to say Boolean ID 3 times. One is for is client field, is read only, is optional. So you have is client field true, that's fine. Is read only, now yours should say true. What this is telling it to do is it's to identify, Boolean just basically means it's one of two options, it's using a binary language. Read only tells it that it is not an editable field. It is a field only to be read and not to be interacted with. So you want to tell that false. No, this is a field that is to be interacted with. And then is optional true. That's fine, yeah. So what you do is you will change that from true to false. Click save. Now, I can't save because it's already set. And then the next thing to do is go back to the archiver, go create archive, go into that extract folder, take the comp, select, and now it should auto open back into your data folder. If not, just make your way to the data folder. Steam Apps, Common, Football Manager 22, Data, Comp Editor. Now, very important. Before you do anything, save your copy of the Comp Editor. I know what I'm doing here, so I'm not going to bother doing any of that. I've done this a million times. But this might be your first time doing it. So if you mess up, it could crash your game and just not allow you to do anything with it. And if you don't know how to fix it, it could just cause you massive headaches. So if you mess anything up, you have a copy of that comp editor file. So if you're ready to keep going, select it, save. Brilliant. What we have now done is we have told the editor that that field is allowed to be edited. I don't know why I closed my editor. You'll have to close your editor and open it back up again. So what you do is open the editor and run it again. Okay, so I'm going to do two databases with you. I'm going to do an Irish database and I'm going to do a British database. I'm going to do the Irish one first. Go to nations, and what we're doing is we're going to find Ireland pre-1922. So what you do is over to your continent field, and you now edit this to Europe or to wherever it is. And you can put it in the region. I don't think it's very important, but might as well just put it in to have it in. Now, information, make sure you select worldwide governing body full member. This will allow you to get access to UEFA and FIFA championships. If it allows you in, it's very, very finicky. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Like I said, when I create a UK, when I use the United Kingdom, it never lets me in as the United Kingdom. But when I create it as Ireland pre-1922, it lets me in. When I select as Czechoslovakia, it lets me in. When I select USSR, it lets me in. When I select Yugoslavia, it doesn't let me in. It's very weird. You have to play around with it. Now, another thing we're going to do is we're going to do the season coefficients, and we're going to switch this to we'll switch it to 20, just so that you can see how it looks on the coefficient ranking schemes, because it can be hard to understand how this interacts with the game if you don't play around with this. Okay, so that is this nation given life. So we go to rules, add nation rules, and now down to other nations, and you go all the way to the bottom. And there we go, Ireland pre-1922. Finish. There we go. So database, clubs. The next thing we do here is we tell the database to look for clubs that are based in Ireland or Northern Ireland. So you can just contains Ireland. There you go. That'll find both of them. Control A, edit everything. Nation, search. Name, Ireland, and we do the same for Continental Cup. And last thing to do, go to competitions, division, and click none. Now that just gives us a clean database to work with. So we go back to database, we go to nations, name, Ireland, and now Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland. Select both of them, go to edit, continent, click. Actually, I'm deliberately going to leave them in just so I can show you what it looks like when they're no, I'll do that in the Great British one, never mind. So go to none, none. So on continent, none, region, none, go into information and untick world governing full body member. So I am now taking the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland out of consideration for squad building or Continental Cup. Or like FIFA, all of these different things. For all intents and purposes, they don't exist. Go to database, competitions. Now, no competitions exist for this nation, so we're just going to create a new one from scratch very quickly. Just call it Irish Super League. and just call it league. I'm going to edit that. There you go. Nation, and select Ireland pre-1922. Open this up. Domestic. It's supposed to be a top division. Okay. And now clubs. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do. There we go. 16. Competition. Search. Just go name Irish. So why isn't that appearing for me now? So Irish Super League. Well, that's all fine. Okay, so let's just try that again. Clubs, edit, competition. Irish Super League, here we go. Okay, staying rule changes, division, add, single division, click Irish Super League. And then you've probably done this a million times before, you know what you're doing from here. Just create a league. I'm going to do nothing else with it because nothing else needs to be done. Test. And then we go save editor data as, and we'll just call it Ireland. We'll just call it test because that's what's going to happen here. Now, something you may want to do in general is this is going to create a new nation, but the game has player entities into the database that have a like based nation, designated nation, nation born in. You're going to have to change all of those fields to this new Ireland. Otherwise, nobody will be eligible to play for this country. And they'll be eligible to play for a country that you've taken out of the game. So essentially what you've done is you've given a load of international players a gigantic finger in the face and told them you're never playing again. So you have to do that. That is a little bit of homework, a little bit of legwork you need to do, admin work. But once we've all this done, you don't go to the main game proper, career. Over here, find test. Damn it, there's two of them. I'm going to name this something else then. Extinct. There we go. That's a thing that happens with the editor. It's quite annoying where it doubles up things. There you go. Undo them. Extinct. Now, a thing to note, it doesn't save a nation coefficient over here, even though you have created nation rules. That is fine. That is normal. Go to continue, go to advanced setup. Now let's get rid of all of these. And you'll notice something immediately. When we go in here, Ireland pre-1922, but there is no Ireland or Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland here is gone, and there is no Ireland to be found. Northern Ireland should have been taken out of this. Let's go to nations. Northern Ireland here. This is interesting. Maybe it's because of the Scottish Cup. Never mind anyway. So we have Ireland pre-1922. So let's open this. Irish Super League only. Start. Okay. Use. And now we're going to Bohemians. Notice all of these have Republic of Ireland, but you can't select it. Go over here to general, and you notice Ireland pre-1922. Go to profile, the flag. Shamrock Rovers is profile based in the Republic of Ireland, and that's because if you go back here and go into clubs, Shamrock Rovers, it has a nation of that, a based nation of Ireland. And likewise, if you look at Linfield, Linfield will have a based nation of Northern Ireland. You can edit that if you want. It really, really doesn't matter. It's like how do you want this to represent itself? Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at let's go to players. No, never mind. General, Ireland pre-1922, and go schedule. Now this has put Ireland into UEFA World Cup qualifiers. It's also in the under-21 qualifiers, but it doesn't have any under-19s matches. So let's go to the senior squad. And it's given us, we've conceded 13 goals in 2 games. We're in a group with England. That is not fair. That is not fair. And Ukraine, oh my God. Okay, but yeah, so Ireland, for all intents and purposes, has taken the place of the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And let's go through here. What we'll do is we'll search by stadiums, because let's go to N. Oh wait, no, sorry. Team. Let's go for N. Notice, look, Malta, North Macedonia. There's no Northern Ireland. And let's go to and you'll notice, like, there's only one Ireland. Oh wait, no, Ireland isn't here because I haven't said it. I haven't given it a stadium yet. But you notice, if you go here, Ireland pre-22, there's no Ireland here. So for all intents and purposes, we've essentially deleted Ireland from this. And if then go over to World, Europe, I did it very quickly. At the very top right-hand corner, there's a little globe. Click that, and then click Europe. Then go to Nations, Qualification Places. You scroll down, 25th will be Ireland pre-1922. They get 1 championship path and 3 Europa League qualifiers. But if you scroll all the way down here, look through this, there's no Ireland, there's no Northern Ireland, meaning European competitions are not drawing from those 2 nations. For all intents and purposes, they don't exist. That is how you play with a new competition like this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a different version of something like this so that you can play around more with it and just see that there's a bit of versatility to it, but you also have to, like, problem solve, do a bit of engineering, and make it work for you the way you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a British league so that the European Cup competitions pull from one British pool, so that all of the Welsh, English and Scottish teams compete in one domestic division and represent the island of Great Britain, but their national teams still represent the national cores of England, Wales and Scotland. So UEFA World Cup qualifying and Euro qualifying will have the nations of England, Wales and Scotland, but England, Wales and Scotland will not have individual representation in club competitions. There will just be great British teams. So let me show you how to do this. So let's start again. Let's lose everything. Come on, I believe in you. Back all the way down to nations again. And let's pull up Great Britain. Edit. Europe. And UK. Okay, so we then want to go rules, add nation rules, open other nations, and GB. There we go, Great Britain. And now we've done Great Britain there. So we go back to database, and then what we do is we go to clubs. Actually, no, we'll create the competition first. Add. We go name, British Super League. Select this to be Great Britain. And then type, again, nothing fancy about what I'm doing here. Name, nation contains England, nation or is Wales. Nation or is Scotland. That's not how you spell Scotland. There we go. So select everything here, edit. And now back over to nation, Great Britain. Then we go Continental Cup nation, Great Britain. Now, I forgot to do this about the Ireland one. In base nation, if you leave that to Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, then the places that they're based in the stadium locations will create new gens of that nationality. So even though there is no Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland team, it'll still produce regens for that national team. They'll just never get called up. Meanwhile, the Republic of Ireland will... See, I don't even know if they'll be eligible to be called up. I probably need to go into the settings for that nation and actually select like treats as nation or has an agreement. I need to look into it, but you can get rid of all of this by just going to base nation, setting that to Ireland pre-1922, and then going to cities. If you go to database, cities, and you can go nation, select the nation, Ireland, you can do contains Ireland, and it'll pull up Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, and then just edit that to Ireland 1922, and that'll retroactively affect the base nation, because the base nations are depending upon the club, and the club's nations depending upon the stadium location. It all interlinks with everything. There's a very structural system in place in this editor. SQL, what did I expect? That is one thing you will need to do. So let's go back. So British Super League and the 2000 clubs that I've edited. Nothing else really needs to be done there. So go to database, competitions. We've made the British Super League. So now let's populate the British Super League. So go to clubs, and then let's select 16 clubs. And you notice Celtic and Rangers are in here. So edit, go to competitions, over here, search. Name will be British Super League. Now, so let's go back up here, divisions, add single division, Super League, 16 teams. Finish. And then go on, let's do this just to make them happy. Goals for. Test rules, and save data as test. Oh wait, no, save it as extinct. There you go. Now let me show you what this looks like. Go to FM, go to new career. All the way down here, extinct, nothing else is selected. And again, notice nothing appears over here. Go confirm. Advanced setup. Add remove leagues. And notice how Great Britain is here. Where's England? England is gone. Scotland is gone and Wales is gone. But we have Great Britain here. Open up Great Britain. Confirm. British Super League. It's a small database. Let's load that. Okay, this should be done any minute now. Did I jump the gun there? Nah, here we go. Okay, use profile, let's go in. Now you see Great Britain. So the Super League is Great Britain, but if I click on this, nothing happens. It won't create a British squad. That is so infuriating. If I go Great Britain, nope. Arsenal, great. They're great right now. Great. It'll bring up Britain, nothing happens. OLY. The Olympic Games. I think the Olympic Games will give us Britain, maybe. Stadium, nope. Past winners. Czechoslovakia. Maybe this is why it loads the USSR and Czechoslovakia over here, because they have former competition with. Well, Yugoslavia. Well, I can't get sidetracked, can't get distracted anyway. But yeah. So let me go back to here. So if you go into the British Super League, now notice it only has the one up here. If we go to rules, first is the UEFA Europa League Conference first qualifying round. Why, you might ask? These clubs have huge coefficients. If we go into world, if we go to Europe, and then if we go to nation club coefficients, England really high. Go all the way down here. Or actually, isn't even in here. Let's search by. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, because it hasn't created a nation yet. And did I actually select for British Super League? Did I? No, Great Britain. Good information. I forgot to set this. It shouldn't matter a damn difference. But just to be safe, let's do all this again, just to be absolutely safe, to make sure that it hasn't messed with us. Okay, we're back here. Let me just double check here now. Go through all of this again. Crystal Palace, go over here. General, Great Britain. Still doesn't let us select anything. Go to world, go to Europe, go to nations. Still no Great Britain. Okay, yeah, that didn't compromise anything. I just wanted to be sure. It still has England, Wales, and Scotland, because as you'll notice, if you go back over here, you go to database, Come on, open up. I believe in you. Go to nations. If we go name England, they still have a continent and a region set. You'll remember with Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, we deselected the continent and the region, and that essentially took them out. Whereas if we go to nation qualification places, here, England has a qualification place. Scotland has a qualification place. Wales has a qualification place. There we go. Wales has a qualification place. But all the way down here, Great Britain has a qualification place. So it is allowing Great Britain to feed into this competition. So let us amend this, because actually, if you go to, yes, clubs, coefficients, you'll notice the English clubs have really high coefficients. Even though they have Great Britain, and yeah, spoilers, there we go. It doesn't have England beside it as Great Britain. And if we go down to, let's find Celtic. Celtic has Great Britain. Because if we go to Celtic and we go to schedule, Champions League first round knockout, Great Britain against Midland. Not a bad pairing. Celtic should get through that. This is the beauty of this, where that its European counterweight is that it is a GBR. It is a team GB, but then if you go into Celtic, they feed players into the English system, into the Scottish system. So it means you get to represent your country in international competitions, and you get to represent the island of Great Britain, kind of like the Olympics, in European competitions. But what it also does is it means that you get to have the old firm in Britain, as well as having like Swansea and Cardiff. And when they qualify for European competitions, they won't have an English flag beside them. They will have a British flag beside them, which it's small. It's a tiny thing. But how you would then change getting more people in, you go to database, nations, Great Britain, open Great Britain. You go down to information, and it'll be in these coefficients. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where this breaks. So if I go to England. Oh, and actually, another thing I would do is I would go into English, I would go into information, and I would set all of these to 0. That way, over here, when I go back to my European coefficients, let's go nation qualification places. Rather than England feeding 4, 5, 6, 7 teams, it'll go all the way down to the bottom and just feed 1 into the Conference League. So I can essentially ignore it completely. So I want to show you how this breaks down. Because if I go to England and I go to details and I deselect Europe, get rid of that. Now, that is all I've done. I have just deselected England. If I do it to Wales or Scotland, same result will happen. I'm just saving myself some time. So let's start again. New career. No. Advanced setup. It should auto-select it because I haven't changed anything. If I go here, now notice there's no England. There's still Scotland and Wales, but there's no England. If I click on Great Britain, open, British Super League. Watch this work now. Watch the editor just be mean to me and watch this work perfectly. Okay, I am so interested to find out what's happened here. Go to Arsenal, overview, general, Great Britain, and suddenly a Great British squad appears. Schedule, senior. They have under 21 qualifier games. They have nothing else. Suddenly this has gotten interesting. See what I mean? Like it's very finicky. Danny Ward can play. These are Welsh players. These are Northern Irish players. Andrew Robertson's a Scottish player. So do they have both or something? This is very, very interesting. Let me open up Liverpool though, and we have England, and England is grayed out. So what's happening here? So I wonder if they have like dual eligibility. If I go to like, let's go to like John McClain. And no, so let's get Andrew Robertson. Andrew Robertson, overview, information. It's not telling us anything unique about him as to why he can play in Great Britain and Scotland, even though Scotland has its own club. Go over here to World, Europe. Actually, if we scroll through here, we won't be able to find England. Notice there's no England to be found. So if we go to competition, let's just go into the European competition. Spain, schedule, senior competition. We won't be able to find an England here in World Cup qualifiers. No England, no England, no England. Faroe Islands. No England, no England, no England, no England. So Holland, no England. There is a Scotland though, no England, no England. There is Wales, no England. Interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of Scotland. Same thing. None. 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 Because what I want to do is I want to just show you what it looks like when it just breaks down. So that you don't like hit your head off of a brick wall and just try to push through it. You'll learn to recognize when it's broken for you and when you need to start troubleshooting. Oops. There's double check. Yeah, Extinct is open. Put it advanced. Put add remove. We have Great Britain, no Scotland. Wales is still deselected. Here we go. Look, this is an issue I get with Great Britain. When it breaks, you'll also notice here. Let's go back to start a new game. Because again, it's the small little things to look out for. Advanced setup. You'll notice there's less leagues to pick from. It's also gotten rid of the United States for some reason. There's less to select for. It only says 9 here for some reason. This is the interlinking part of the editor just breaking down as the game is struggling to cope with what you're trying to do with it. Because Great Britain is not designed to run in it. I need to play around figuring out, but here's what you do. Notice there's no Switzerland. Sorry, there's no Sweden. Sweden is gone. There's a Norway. Is there? Is there Norway? I don't see Norway. There is no Norway. Great Britain, open it up, but it loads the Swedish leagues. And if I press start game, it'll load Swedish leagues. So, like I said, it's not a science. You have to play around with it and bend it to your will and make it work in some degree. So I've showed you how to make Ireland by removing Ireland and Northern Ireland, and I've showed you how you can make British club competitions while still retaining the English national leagues. So I guess have fun with this one. You'll get hours and hours of entertainment just figuring out what you can and can't do. So friends, thanks very much. I'll catch you in the next one.